You're watching the chapter number 7 of the Blender Materials Textures and Nodes course, Texture Basics. In this chapter, we'll be understanding about all of these topics in complete detail, and we'll even use them in the retro gaming arcade scene that we have been creating in this course. And if you're someone who's new to this course, then do check out the previous 6 chapters from the link of the playlist given in the pinned comment. So I've opened this file where we created this layout and understood about different types of nodes in the previous chapters. But in today's chapter, our first topic will be to understand about the image texture. And for this, go to the shader editor. Let's delete all of these nodes by pressing X, and to add the image texture, press Shift plus A, then go to texture, and in this list, select the image texture. Let's place it over here. Now this particular node, which is the image texture, is used to apply any particular image that you have saved in your PC to any object in the scene. Now there are plenty of websites from where you can download the image textures, but even if I simply search on Google for some image textures, then it will display a variety of different images which you can use as the texture for your object. For example, if I want to apply this particular image as the texture on the object, then I'll visit this website, select the particular image, and will download it by clicking on the download button and selecting the resolution. After this, the image will begin to download, and I'll also drop the link of this image in the description of this video so you can download the image from there. Also, it is advisable to use websites like Pexels.com or Pixabay in case you are searching for some very simple images to be used as a texture. I've reopened the Blender file, and to use that image that we downloaded as the texture on the UV sphere, go to the image texture node, click on the open button, select that particular image that you want to apply as the texture, then click on open image. Then after this, take the color socket and connect it to the base color in the principal BSDF node. And by doing this, you will notice that particular image applied as the texture on that particular object. In fact, you can still change the metallic value in the principal BSDF node if you want to make the surface of the material with the image texture more metallic. You can even control the roughness value, and basically this is how you can use any image as the texture to be applied on any object in the scene. Now this was one way of applying the textures as the material on an object, but in Blender you also have some pre-existing textures like the brick texture, noise texture, magic texture, and a lot more. You can use them and even modify them to create different types of materials. And to begin with your understanding, we'll move to the next topic of this chapter, which is the checker texture. So to add it over here, press Shift plus A, then go to texture and select the checker texture. Let's place it over here and connect the color socket to the base color. Now, as the name suggests, this particular node added a checkerboard texture as the object's material, but it looks a little bit strange because they are using it on a UV sphere, and by default, this texture is not taking the UV map into consideration. So to solve this problem, we have to use a node which is called the texture coordinate node. Now take the UV socket and connect it to the vector in the checker texture. After this, let's go to the scale value and increase it to something like 20, and now we are able to see the checker texture properly applied on the UV sphere according to the UV map. So in simple words, we use the texture coordinate node as the input for the vector socket to tell the checker texture node that we want to apply it as per the UV mapping. After this, we also have some options of changing the colors, and the first color, which is white, is for all these squares which are white in color, and the color 2 is for all these squares which are grey or black in color. So if I go to the color 1 and try to change it to the red color, then the texture will look like this. And similarly, if I go to the second color and try to change it to the blue color, then the texture will look like this. So first of all, you can change the scaling of the texture with the help of the scale value. Then by using the color 1 and the color 2, you can define the particular colors for the checker texture. In fact, in the texture coordinate node also, you're having several options like the generated, normal, UV, object, and all of these will change the way how the texture will get applied on the object surface. Out of these 7 sockets, the most important are the first 4, and you can try connecting each of them with the vector socket to see the changes in the texture applied. Also try to adjust the scale value to notice the changes in a better way. In a similar way, I'll take the normal socket also and connect it to the vector to see how it looks. Similarly, the object socket also, and this is how it looks. But for now, I'll take the UV socket and connect it to the vector, and let's also change the scale value to around 20. And now let's also use this checker texture node on some other object like a cube in the scene. So for this, let's first go to the solid mode. Now press Shift plus A, then go to mesh and select cube. Press G to move it and place it over here. Now let's go to the render preview mode, and with the cube selected, we'll apply the same material that we have applied to the UV sphere. So the name of this material is material.004. So with the cube selected, click on this icon, and from this list, I will select the material.004, and with this, we are now having the same material applied to the cube. In fact, if I try to use the generated socket in the texture coordinate node and reduce the value of scale, then you can see here that even though the texture applied on the UV sphere is not completely perfect, but it is not the case with the cube. Similarly, if I take the object socket and connect it to the vector, then in this case also, the texture applied on the UV sphere is not perfect, but the one applied on the cube looks completely fine. And in most of the cases, you will notice this checker texture being applied on flat surfaces like a plane or a cube. But even if you apply this texture on a UV sphere or some similar object, then you can use the UV socket in the texture coordinate node in order to get a perfect texture. Moving ahead, the next topic of this chapter is to understand about the brick texture node. But before that, I will remove the checker texture from here. So press X to delete. Now press Shift plus A, then go to texture and select the brick texture. Let's place it over here and connect the color socket in the brick texture to the base color in the principal BSDF. Now it will look a little bit complicated for both the UV sphere as well as the cube. But to solve this problem, simply take the UV socket in the texture coordinate node and connect it to the vector in the brick texture. And by doing this, we have the brick texture applied on both the objects. Now as the name suggests, this particular node will apply the texture of these bricks on the object, and in this node we also have many different options to change the way how the texture will look. For example, the first useful setting is the offset value, which is by default set to 0.5, and this value will determine the brick offset of different rows. To understand this thing in even more detail, I'll change this value of the offset to 0, and by doing this you will notice that all the bricks are now having the same starting point. But if I begin to increase this value of the offset, then every other brick will have a certain distance with respect to the other brick in the corresponding rows. So if you want to have all the bricks starting from the same line, then simply set the value of offset to 0 or +1, but if you want them to start from alternative ends, then you can keep this value to 0.5. After this, the next useful setting is the color of these bricks. The color 1 will change all the bricks that are currently having the white color. Then the color 2 will change all the bricks that are currently having this grey color. So if I take the color 1 and change this to the blue color, and similarly I'll take the color 2 and will change this to the yellow color. And by doing this, we get a brick texture which looks like this. Now you might feel that even though you chose the blue and the yellow colors for the brick faces, we are still getting some different colors on most of these faces. And the reason behind this is that for each of the brick, the color will basically be a different combination of the color 1 and the color 2. As a result, some of the bricks are light blue in color, some are completely yellow, some are purple colored. So the color 1 and the color 2, which is the blue and yellow color, will blend together to give different color combinations. But in most of the cases, the brick texture is used to create realistic looking brick-like texture with a combination of red and orange color. So in the color 1, if I take this pointer of the color wheel to the red color, and then for the color 2, if I change this from yellow to something like orange, then in this case, we get a texture which somewhat looks like the brick texture. After this, the next important setting that you have in this node is the color of mortar, and this will define the color in between any two bricks in the texture. For example, if I go to the mortar color and increase the brightness, then the color between each pair of bricks will change to the white color. Similarly, you can set any other color that you like to use as the mortar color. But for now, I'll reduce the brightness to make this color darker, and now it looks perfect. Then the next important option is the scale value, and as the name suggests, it is used to control the scaling of the texture applied on the object. If I increase the value of scale, the number of these bricks on the texture will increase, but if I reduce it to something like 5 or 6, then the number of these bricks will reduce. Similarly, the mortar size will control the size of the stack area in between each pair of tiles, and by default its value is set to 0.02, which actually works great in most of the cases. Then the next one is the mortar smoothness, and if I increase it, then the dark area in between each pair of tiles will become smooth and appear like this. So if you want, you can control the smoothness of the mortar with the help of this value. Then the next option that you have is the bias, and this controls the amount of blending of the color 1 and the color 2. By default, its value is set to 0, meaning that there will be an equal blending of both the colors. But if I want more influence of the color 1, then I have to reduce this value to a negative number For example, at -1, we have complete red color, which is also the color 1, and as I begin to increase this value, the influence of the red color will begin to reduce, and once it reaches +1, we'll be getting complete yellow color, which is the color number 2. But again, to get a balanced color, it is advisable to use 0 as the value in the bias option. Then the last two are the brick width and the row height, and obviously the brick width will control the width of the brick, so if I increase it, the width will begin to increase, and similarly, the row height will control the height of the tiles. So you can try to adjust these values in order to get a different type of result each and every time. But for now, I'll change this to the default value, which is 0.5 for the brick width and 0.25 for the row height. And with this, we have now understood about the three important textures, which is the image texture, the checker texture, and the brick texture. And before moving forward, let's save this material that we created with the brick texture in the material asset library, which we created in the chapter number 1 of this course. So first of all, let's rename this material to brick, and after that, go to the scene collection, and in the sphere, select the brick material by left clicking on it, then right click and select mark as asset. And yes, if you want to download this Blender file along with all the materials that we have saved in this course, then you can join the Patreon, whose link is added in the description of this video. And now it's the time to practically understand the nodes that we covered today in the retro gaming arcade scene. So I've opened this file with the retro gaming arcade scene, and the first thing that we'll do will be to assign the brick texture on this wall at the back. So for this, I'll first hide this portal that we created in the chapter number 5. So press H to hide it, then select the plane, and let's now create a new material. So go to the material properties, click on the plus icon, and now we'll be using that brick texture that we saved in the material library a few minutes ago. So for this, click here and select the asset browser. Then I'll take the brick texture by left clicking, drag it and drop it into this empty slot of the material. Then to assign this material to this background face, press tab to enter the edit mode, and with this face selected, select the brick material and click on the assign button. After this, return back to the object mode, and now it looks like this because we have to fix the UV mapping of this face according to the texture. And to do this thing, a very simple way is to enter the edit mode, and with the face selected, go to the UV menu and select unwrap. By doing this, we will notice the brick texture properly applied on this wall. But even after doing this, the rotation of the texture is still not fixed. So to solve this problem, we first have to go to the shader editor, and now we'll be understanding about a completely new shader node that we have not yet understood in this course so far, and the name of that node is the vector mapping node. This node will allow us to make the changes in the texture, like the location of the texture, the rotation, and the scaling. So to add the mapping node over here, press Shift plus A, then go to vector and select the mapping node. Now place it in between the texture coordinate and the brick texture, and if I try to change the rotation value in the z-axis, then you will notice that the brick texture applied on this background will begin to rotate. For now, I'll change this value of the rotation in the z-axis to 90 degrees, and now it looks perfect. Similarly, you can also try to change the scaling values in the different axes in order to see the changes in the texture, but currently I'll keep the scale values to the default one, and now we'll move forward to apply the checker texture on this bottom face. So for this, go to the material properties, click on the plus icon and create a new material. After this, to add the checker texture in the shader editor, press Shift plus A, then go to texture and select the checker texture. Let's place it over here, connect the color socket to the base color, and to apply this material to the bottom face, press tab to enter the edit mode, select this face, then in the material properties, select this material, click on the assign button, and by doing this, we now have the material with the checker texture applied on this face. Now in the color 1, I'll keep this to the default white. However, for the color 2, let's reduce the brightness because I'll set this color to black. Let's also change the scaling value, so let's increase it to somewhere around 10 or maybe 12, and now it looks perfect. By doing this, we have created a simple wall texture for the back face and also a checker texture for the floor. Moving ahead, we'll also be using some image textures to be applied on the different faces of this gaming machine. But to do that, we first need to get some images to be used as the image textures. So for this purpose, I searched on Google for some royalty-free game-related images, and all the results came up. Let's first explore this pixabay.com website, and in this, we are having a number of different images, out of which some of them can be used for applying the textures. For example, here we have the image of Mario. So let's download this image by clicking on the download button, and I'll select the highest resolution and click download. Also, I will drop the link of this image along with all the other images that we'll download in this chapter in the description of this video. Moving ahead, let's search and download some more images. For example, I'll download this image also of this warrior. So click on the download button, select the resolution and click on download. Similarly, you can search for any image and download it if you think it will actually look good for a scene. Let me download this one also. which can be used for the screen showing the game over display. So let's download this, select the resolution, let's search for some more images. So let's visit some other websites also to get some different type of images. For example, we have the pexels.com, where again you will find a variety of different images that you can use for the arcade scene. For example, this particular image looks good, so I'll click on the download button, and after downloading it, we now have a sufficient number of images to be used as the image textures on our scene. So I've opened Blender again, and to apply the texture, let's go to the render preview mode, and let's first apply the texture with the game over image on this face of the gaming screen. So to do this thing, let's first create a new material. So go to the material properties, click on the plus icon, then click on the new button, and to add the image texture, press Shift plus A, then go to texture and select the image texture. Let's place it over here and connect the color socket to the base color. After this, to use that specific image, click on the open button, then open that particular folder where you saved the image, then select it and click on open image. After this, to apply this material on this face with the screen, press tab to enter the edit mode, select this face, then in the material properties, select the material with the image texture and click on the assign button. Then to adjust the UV mapping with the face selected, go to the UV menu and select unwrap. And by doing this, we are now able to see some part of the image being applied as the texture on this face. And to fix it properly, let's first go to the material preview mode for a smoother experience. And now we have to use the UV editor to fix this problem. So click here and change this window from the shader editor to the UV editor. Now press tab to enter the edit mode, and with the face selected, go to the UV editor, scroll down, and now here you can see that we are having these 4 points in the UV editor, which are nothing but the vertices of this face being placed on the image. So if I select both of these vertices, and after that, if I press G to move them, then you will notice that the image texture in the 3D viewport will also begin to change. To restrict the movement only in a particular axis, simply press X after pressing G, and now we'll get the horizontal movement. So right now, I'll place both of these vertices on the corners, and then if I have to rotate the image, so for this, go to the UV editor, press A to select all the vertices, and press R to rotate. By doing this, you will notice that the effect of rotation is also being visible in the image texture. Now if I press 90, then in this case, the image will get rotated, but in the opposite direction. So this time, let's rotate it by 180 degrees for the perfect rotation. After this, return back to the object mode, and let's also go to the render preview mode. Let's also change this window back to the shader editor. So click here and select the shader editor. Now you can see here that the effect of lighting is too high in this scene, and that's because of this emission material that we have applied to the gaming machine. So I'll go to the material properties, select the material with the emission, and let's reduce the strength to 1. And by doing this thing, we are now able to see the image texture applied on this face in a much better way. In fact, to give this texture an even better look, go to the shader editor, then in the principal BSDF node, go to emission and increase the emission strength to +1. Then take the color socket in the image texture and connect it to the color socket in the principal BSDF node. And by doing this, we have now applied a slight emission to this material, and the color that it takes for the emission will be the same colors as in the image texture. But if you look closely at this image, you will notice that the image is repeating itself. The first image ends at here, then we have the second image, and then the text for the third image is also being visible. And to solve this problem, let's again enter the edit mode, change this window back to the UV editor, press A to select all, and let's first scale it up in the X axis. So press S and X and scale it up like this. After this, let's also scale it down in the Y axis by pressing S and Y and left click to finalize. So in simple words, we adjusted the size of the face formed by these 4 vertices according to the size of image. And with this, we are now having a perfect image texture applied on this face. If you want, you can even change the colors in this image by using the hue saturation value node about which we discussed in the previous chapter. So to add it here, press Shift plus A, then go to color and select the hue saturation value. We'll place it in between the image texture and the principal BSDF node, and let's also connect the color socket to the emission color. After this, if I go to the hue value and try to change it slightly, then you will notice the change in color being applied in the image texture. Similarly, if I further change this value of hue, then you will notice similar changes in the color of the image. So if you want, you can try to change the color of the image texture with the help of hue parameter in the hue saturation value node. After this, you can also adjust the saturation value, and in a similar way, you can also change the value parameter. But for now, I think that this image is looking perfect for the screen of the gaming machine. Now similarly, we'll also apply other images on the different faces of the machine. So for this, go to the material preview mode, click on the plus icon and create a new material. After this, go to the shader editor, press Shift plus A, then go to texture and select the image texture. Let's place it over here, connect the color socket to the base color, and to import the image, click on the open button. Now select that particular image and click on open image, and now to apply this material on this face, press tab to enter the edit mode, select the face, go to the material properties, select the material and click on the assign button. After this, go to the UV menu and select unwrap, and with this we now have image texture applied on this face. Then if you want to adjust the position of this image, then go to the edit mode, and let's also change this window from the shader editor to the UV editor. Let's zoom out, select these two vertices, press G and X and move them like this. Now return back to the object mode, and in a similar way, let's also apply one more image texture for this face. So let's go to the shader editor by clicking here, and let's also create a new material. So click on the plus icon, then on the new button, then in the shader editor, press Shift plus A, then go to texture and select the image texture. Place it over here, connect the color socket to the base color, and to import the image, click on the open button. Then select that particular image and click on the open image, and after this, to apply this image texture to this face, press tab to enter the edit mode, select this face, then go to the material properties, select the material slot and click on the assign button. After this, while being in the edit mode, go to UV and select unwrap. Then to adjust the position of image, we'll change this window to the UV editor. Now press A to select all, and we'll move this face in the X-axis according to the image of Mario. Let me select these two vertices also, and we'll move them in the X-axis like this, so that we only have the image of Mario on this particular face. Now return back to the object mode, and with this, we have now learnt about applying the image texture on the different faces of an object. Also, in the shader editor, you can go to the emission value and increase the strength to 1 and connect the color socket of the image texture to the emission color. Let's do the same for the material on this face also. So I'll select the material, go to emission value and increase the strength to +1. Then for the color, take the color socket in the image texture and connect it to the emission color. And with this, we have now completed the chapter number 7, where we understood about the working of 3 main textures in Blender, namely the image texture, the checker texture and the brick texture. Then we also use them in the retro gaming arcade scene. And yes, if you want to download this particular Blender file with a complete retro gaming arcade scene created, then do consider joining the Patreon, whose link is added in the description of this video. And so our next chapter will be the chapter number 8, manipulating textures. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, press that notification bell so that you can get timely updates about the upcoming chapters. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.